Good evening, race fans. It's a very special event this evening. It's a tribute race for Rick Farley, the father of Old Man Jay, who I'm sure you've seen many times here on Black Flag Racing TV. Rest in peace, my friend. Rest in peace. He worked for McLaren. He lived 85 years old. He to play for West Ham in his younger years. He loved golf, he loved crosswords, he loved Boddingtons, and who doesn't, let's be fair, and lawn bowls. And this race tonight is 85 laps, a tribute to the man himself. We'll bring up some information so you can see what's occurring. There we go. As I said, Rick is the father of Old Man Jay, 85 years old. So 85 laps, starting fuel of 39, represented by the year of his birth. The weather settings will... It makes sense. Just read it. It's not that complicated. We'll be using all three tyre compounds throughout this very tough track, and it's a very special livery on all the cars this evening. 5 minutes quali, 180 seconds end time. We're racing soft snow tyres or fuel wear in quali, which is about to start very, very soon. 85 laps, as we said, custom weather. Mandatory tyres will be all three compounds this evening: hard, medium and soft. How you doing, Jay? How you doing, Ricardo? Jack Hammer, how you doing? BOP on with brake balance, damage lights, penalties and ghosting on weak. Don't like ghosting, but it is what it is. Usual assist prohibited, and there is a custom paint job there for all to see. We will be qualifying very, very soon. Let's have a little talk about Dragon Trail Trail, because it is a very, very tricky circuit. It is 5.2 kilometres, 3.2 miles, 17 turns, and the standard layout is clockwise circuit. Now, the interesting thing about this is it's essentially a triangle. And that triangle is all four points. 4 points for triangle. 3 points are really tricky hairpins, particularly the sort of middle corner of the three. Very, very tricky, and in between them you've got some really long straights. You've of course got the dreaded chicane of death. And I imagine with 15 drivers, all varying qualities, but all very good drivers, some A+ drivers out there, some very, very quick drivers out there this evening. We're going to see, I think, with 85 laps, and we're going to have some dodgy tyres out there with the hards and whatnot. I think we're going to find there's going to be one or two little forays with the wall this evening. But it is an incredibly good circuit. You will see some great racing, and qualifying is about a minute away. I think it says there qualifying starts in the 1 minute. So it's going to be 5-minute qualifying. We're looking at qualifying time somewhere, I think, in the region of a 1:34, maybe not that low, maybe a 1:38, 1:39s. Particularly from the quick guys. We've got some very quick drivers out there. We've got drivers like the Truth, Pole Sitter, Ando, they're out there. We've got Mazda. We know that he's capable of a quick lap or two. Greasy as well. Good to see Greasy. Haven't seen him around in a while. And Sharky, of course. There's some great drivers out there. And of course, Jay himself will be driving in this tribute race to his father. Monkey Man Macho, I've just noticed, as well, is in the lobby, rocking a CDR, which is a bit odd for him, but yeah, it's going to be an interesting battle out in front, and because they're all in this McLaren 650S, I imagine we will see some pretty close times, particularly qualifying. I think it's going to be very, very close. We'll do an onboard when it starts, and we'll talk about overtaking points and such whatnot. So I've been out of practice. I don't know why I'm out of practice. I've been doing the radio show. Just there hasn't been a lot of broadcasting on Black Flag Racing TV. You may notice there's obviously some stuff going at home. We've Watkins Glen was the last big event with GTEC. We've got another big event coming up with GTEC, and it's the Le Mans 24-hour. That's coming up in about 3 weeks, I think, something like that, 2-3 weeks. But we may have some stuff in between now and then. We will see what happens at Urban Towers. But we'll see. Anyway, so qualifying is about to begin. Don't know what the delay seems to be. It said qualifying starting in a minute, but it hasn't yet begun. practice still going on. I'm not going to bother bringing up the track just yet because we're still waiting for qualifying to begin. Alright, everyone ready? So here we go. Your qualifying is about to begin. So I said 37-38. I've just a little sneaky look at practice, and we're seeing 35. So actually, my first thought of 33-34 might actually be a little bit more accurate. I've seen drivers chucking in 35s in qualifying. I think that's what we're looking at for pole. I think 35, maybe 34 for pole. We will see what we will see. I had a couple of technical problems. I did check it all this morning to make sure it was working, but for some reason my headphones have decided to cut out. So I'm going to have them race sound on in the background. I can't do it without race sounds. It's just not quite right for the purposes. And for some reason my screen keeps flickering. My screen keeps flickering. So yeah, we'll work with it. We'll work with it. It shouldn't affect the feed that you guys are getting. Right, qualifying is about to begin. As I said, 5 minutes. So they've got time to do 2 hot laps. They go straight out. You should get 2 hot laps out of qualifying without too much of a problem. We'll see how quickly they go out. We'll find someone to go on board with, shall we? Let's get all my details up first. Let's go bang into the screen there. How's about that then? Right, so we'll go on board with who's at the front of the pack. There we go. Old Man Jay, he's going out first. So we'll go on board with Old Man Jay. Bearing in mind it's tribute to his father. So just winding up, getting the tyre. First port of call, of course, is to get some heat into those tyres. Make sure they're ready to go. This is part of the circuit where we're going to see a lot of time won or lost, because you head down the hill here, it flicks slightly to the right hand side. It's a little tiny little touch on the brakes, lift the throttle maybe just to get it turning. You need to make sure you get this turn right so you can take both the left and right flat out. If you're on worn tyres, you've got to be careful not to drift over to that right hand side as you come through the left hander and down the hill. Hard braking zone. This is the biggest braking zone on the circuit. Get it turned in, but you've got a good wide exit and you can get on the power nice and early as you head into the first of these 2 chicanes. This one over both of the sausages. You lift in a little bit, touch your brake to get through there. You don't want to clip the wall either on the way through or on the way out as you head down to the final point of this triangle. You're looking for the beginning of that rumble strip there before you get on the brakes, down into 3rd gear, get the car rotated, on the power as early as you dare, and head up the hill to start your hot lap. You're sticking to this the sort of left hand side of the track really, because there's no real benefit to being anywhere else. Flick it to the right, just touching that curb. If we get tucked in, 100 metre board on those brakes, down into 2nd gear, plenty of rotation into this first tricky chicane before you're back on the power again and heading up the hill to the first of the 3 triangle points here at Dragon Trail in Croatia. This is the first one. You lift a little bit for the first part of it, second part of it hard on the brakes again, 2nd gear, get it turning, use all of that inside curb, use all of that outside curb before you get back on the power and head down the hill. And this is where you really start to ramp up the pace here, lifting, getting through this, hugging that inside line, hugging the line again through the right hander, hugging it again through this left hander. You are flat out all the way down this hill. After, of course, you climb through the mountains on the way up. Down the hill you go. Remember, you're heading down here, you've got slipstream here. Think about your braking point. If you brake too late here, you could find yourself disappearing into that wall as the helicopter flying overhead. Into the chicanes we go, flat out all the way over this curb, touching the wheels on that curb, staying nice and wide. You can get that lift, get the turn, avoiding the wall. Both sides that was close. I've seen some mad accidents there, but I've also seen, and you'll find it here on the channel somewhere, there's a video of a car coming through there completely blind. 2 cars crashed either side and he somehow made it through the middle of them without dying. It was something quite special. That's round the final corner, up the hill you go, climbing. You got your pits there on the right hand side and you go across the line, and that is 1:38. 3 for Endorphin on pole position. Keyboard working, is it? Looks that way. So we've got Monkey Man Macho on pole. That's a 1:36.5 from a Macho Man. Ando coming in. I was going to say Ando coming in second, but that's Greasy, knocking half a tenth, should I say, off Monkey Man to take pole himself, the Canadian driver, using that livery. We'll flick through. We'll have a good look at the livery in a minute, actually. Although if you want to look, it's on the thumbnail. You can look at it as much as you like. But they're all rocking the same livery. Monkey Man Macho on that front row with Greasy from Canada, Ando from Australia. There's Australia, of course it is on the second row. He's got Sodium Pentothal, or The Truth, another Canadian driver there with him. The entire top four at the moment separated by less than 1 second. Just outside 1.1 seconds, that's Puebla from the United States. Puebla? Yeah, that's what I'm going with. That's his name, I'm sticking to it. From the United States of America. Fuck yeah. With Mazda, nothing. Piece of paper separating them. He, for some reason, isn't running a livery. I don't know if that's a loading problem or what, but he's not. He's from New Zealand, of course. There is pole sitter. Not currently the pole sitter. He is in 7th position on row 4 with Endorphin for Company, who's it looks like he's been held up behind another driver, and I don't know that he's in front of him because they've all got the same car, of course. Tabo from the United States, he's behind Endorphin. He's on row 5 with Nuke for Company. Ricardus and Old Man J on row 6. Or he's just got like Sharky. Sharky just put himself in that top 10. So that knocks Old Man J out of the top 6 into what's he on? That's row 7. Yeah, of course it is. He's got the Stig for Company and Max there at the back. That's not Max Verstappen, clearly, because he's at the back. And that's qualifying pretty. Who's finished qualifying? Few of them will have done now, I would have thought. But it's Monkey Man Macho that steals that pole position right at the death there. They do look great. I think it was Slipstream that did them, so credit to Slippy. We know he's very good at doing livery, so credit to the man for his livery work. It's been a while since we've seen some of his gorgeous liveries, Jack. But there you go, there's your front two. There's Monkey Man Macho, Greasy, Sam Squanch, or YouTube Greasy as he's now called. Formerly of High Pre, now with Sector 7. Ando and The Truth on row 2. It is Puebla with Mazda on row 3. Pole Sitter and Endorphin row 4. Row 5, Tabao with the Australian Sharky. Rounding out that top 10, it's Nuke and Ricardus on row 11, row 6, sorry. Row 7 is Old Man J and Stig. And Max didn't set, by the looks of things, a qualifying time. So he will start from the back of the grid, having not set a qualifying time. Be interesting to see what his pace is like. He didn't set a time. So unless that's Max, that's actually Max Verstappen, which I doubt very much. But unless that's actually him and he's trying to do a first to last jobby, he's giving himself some work to do. It'd be interesting actually to see what tyre choices we get, because they've got to use all 3 compounds. Why is it still? Everyone's finished, so I'm wondering why the countdown's taking quite so long. Yeah, so they've got 3 tyre choices in the race. It's the soft, the medium, and the hard compound tyre. Obviously, you are all the way through that. You're sacrificing grip for longevity, or you are taking degradation. You're taking low deg over not lasting very long. How you doing, Philip? Plug it in, mate. Plug in your phone. That is what chargers are for. 36.0. What did I say qualifying B? I said 34, and then I kind of hedged my bets a bit and went out sort of 37, 38. So I wasn't far off, actually. 36.0. That's not bad. Nowhere near a time I would set there. So there we go. Qualifying is done. We'll whip back onto this little graphic we got here. That is not me driving. I can assure you of that. I'll tell you a funny story while we're waiting for the race to start, actually. When I make these videos, the first one I made, the intention was that I would drive and I would record it and then that would be done. And I did, and I crashed. How you doing, Hovercraft? Your house lost power, man. Oh, that sucks. That absolutely sucks. Feel for you, man. Hopefully your phone lasts out. But maybe you should keep your phone for something more important, like calling the power company. Don't know. Yeah, anyway, let's come back to how I'm making these videos. So, the first one I did, I can't remember what track it was for. It might have been, I think it was Brands Hatch, actually. I did it, and then I crashed about 3 or 4 times. So I decided that what I was going to do is do a 2-car race, and then always use the footage of the other car, because I crashed. And then I did another one for Watkins Glen, where I did the other car. It was the other car that crashed, and I actually made it all the way around. So anyway, but I don't use my own footage. I always use an AI car instead of my own, just because I'm shit and I can't be bothered to film like 6 or 7 laps at a time. Right, so race will begin shortly. 85 laps around this Dragon Trail Seaside circuit. It's the better one of the two. However, I think if you're driving a souped up road car, the other Dragon Trail track is much more fun to race on. But we'll see now how everybody gets on. Just bringing up all my deets. Let's do that very quickly. There we go. Right, so Monkey Man Macho on pole. Let's have a look from this point here, and we'll go driver cam. Oh, we've lost some liveries. So some liveries are not loading. I think this is an issue. I'll tell you what causes this. It's a twofold thing. One, it's the mixture of PS4, PS5, 3 things: the mixture of PS4, PS5, the multiple sort of British and American and all that kind of in the server, and also it's whether you have visible damage on or not. Of course, the detail of the livery does make a difference. Right, so Monkey Man Macho does lead the way. Mazda has earned his way already up into second. Good move there. A couple of people touching early on. And there is a lot of shovey with those guys up in that top 3, allowing Monkey Man Macho just to disappear off already. 2.5 seconds up the road here on lap number 1. Mazda there in second, trying to hold off the charge of a Greasy. It looks like Greasy Senior, doesn't it? It's not. It's Greasy Sector 7. He's made that move now. He's got that move done. Mazda all the way down the order. What happened to him? Let's see if we can catch him up and find out where he gone. He's there somewhere. Right, we'll put the marker in and then we'll find him. There he is. Let's have a look what happened to Mazda there, because you can see there he's holding off the charge of Greasy, and that's what I said. I said you have to be careful going through there. Those hard compound tyres not being nice to Mazda, and off the track he goes and drops way down that order, down to 10th position. The Truth up into 3rd. Let's have a look. Tyres. Right, to tyres. It's soft for Monkey Man Macho. That would explain the 4.5 second gap already at the beginning of lap 1. But bear in mind, all 3 compounds have to be used. So at some stage, he is going to have to run that, at least one, well, in fact, all of the harder compounds. And look at that. See, I say this every time. I absolutely hate this practice of all 3 tyre compounds are required, and then everyone just bins them at the end of lap 1. For me, if you're going to require all 3 compounds, there needs to be some sort of caveat that they're run for a minimum length of time. I would like to see people using them for a whole stint, because otherwise, what's the point? If everybody's just going to bin them after 1 lap. Now, you've got to bear in mind, everyone started on 39% of fuel, which represented the year that Rick Farley was born. So those that have got in have obviously filled up, which is why, and got rid of the tyres. But you would have thought, you should at least run those hard tyres for the first 39% of your fuel. Anyway, Monkey Man leads from Greasy. Greasy on the hard tyres, he has stayed out. He's doing the right thing. He's running a full stint on those hard tyres. Endorphin, he's in 3rd. He stayed out as well on those hards. Puebla. He's on the mediums, running in 4th position. Good little battles going on there. He's got Puebla's got Sharky all over him. He's on those hard compound tyres. He stayed out. Pole Sitter as well. He's 1.2 behind that battle. Let's have a little drone cam look at this, because this essentially is the fight for 2nd place. And there's Sharky trying to make a move on Puebla up the inside on that final corner. Turn 17. Ooh, that was a little bit of oversteer there. Let's call it oversteer. Let's hope that wasn't a a direct smack to knock him off the track. I don't think it was. Pole sitter going in to get rid of his hard compound tyres. As you can see, Sharky giving it all the beans, every single bit of the beans. Puebla staying with Sharky after that little coming together earlier on this at the end of the last lap or beginning of this lap ish. And you can see there, Sharky just finding that little bit of extra pace. He's tucked in behind Endorphin. Can Sharky make a move? Now, the thing with Endorphin battling with Sharky at the moment, that gives Greasy a little bit of breathing room, and that's exactly what he'll want. And we've seen some epic battles in the past between Greasy and Sharky. I think back, actually, to the BMW, the GTC BMW Cup at Bathurst, where I think Greasy was leading the way and winning the race and winning the championship, and then binned it going into the chicane before Conrad with just a few laps to go, and Sharky stealing the championship from him on that final race. That was some exciting stuff. Puebla getting a great run through there, and Sharky not doing quite so well. And we can see this is the first real casualty that we've got to see so far. And we'll see here as you go through, takes the first part of the chicane nicely. Little bit wide there, I think, but just not losing the front end of the back end of the car coming out, and it just clipped the wall and allowed Puebla to drive on through and move up into fourth place, and now 1.6 seconds up the road. Old man Jay, he stayed out. He started on the medium compound tyres. He stayed out. He's up to the dizzy heights of 6th. Looks like the practice is paying off for him. Currently running 1.8 seconds behind Sharky. He's got a good little bit of a gap to Turbo, who is running in 7th. He's on the hard tyres, yet to pit. Max as well, still yet to pit. He started, as we know, at the back of the grid. Fastest lap for him so far is a 1:43. He's on the softs, needs to up that pace if he wants to get involved with the front runners. Strange to start on the softs, to be honest, with such a low fuel amount. You would have thought you'd use one of the harder compounds. There's Ando, he's on those mediums. He has been in, but he's only put a little bit of fuel on board, so he's got rid of the hard compounds. Now the question is he just going to go soft all the way to the end of the race? I imagine that's probably the ploy. Stig, he's on those mediums. It looks like this is his first. He hasn't stopped as yet. Pulsitor, we know he has. Again, just a little splashy splash with those medium tyres on now. Mazda, he put a lot more fuel in, but has gone to the medium tyres. As Monkey Man Macho into the pits. The fuel depleted for his first stint. A Nuke there on those mediums. He put a good splattering of fuel in on his stop, getting rid of those hards. Ricardas, he is running currently 14th, also on those mediums. And Truth, he's on the softs now, and he's going to go long on those softs. He's filled that tank right up to the brim. So Monkey Man and Greasy in. Puebla staying out for one final lap. I can tell you he's not got a lot. Well, you can see. I don't need to tell you because you can see he's not got a huge amount of fuel there, but he is hanging on. Monkey Man Macho back out in second, so de facto first, really. With Ando sneaking through, Old Man Jay sneaking through as well, as is Stig, all staying out for another lap. Old Man Jay managing to hold on to the fuel. That's pretty good actually for those guys, holding on to the fuel of that extra lap, that little bit longer than those guys out there. Pulsitor as well. That's a good move from Pulsitor, getting ahead of Greasy. Pulsitor, remember, has stopped as well. So good move from Pulsitor. He's jumped Greasy there. Good evening, Paul. How the bloody hell are you? It's been a long time, my northern monkey friend. How you been, man? How you been? That's Greasy there. So he went full beans on the fuel. He's going to go for a really long run on these medium compounds. I wouldn't be surprised if we see him not only gain a few places on track, but gain a few places, well, he certainly will with pit stops, because we know that Puebla's going to come in, Ando, Old Man J, Stig, they're all going to have to come in at the end of this lap. So that's going to put Greasy, I think, back in that top 3. But he has got Mazda for company. Mazda looking pretty racy at the moment. Not too far behind that's Nuke as well. So there's a decent battle still potentially going on for 3rd. Now, Greasy, he is racing, obviously Mazda behind, but also he's going to be racing Monkey Man Macho up ahead of him, and Pulsitter, who's 5 seconds up the road. So his first job, of course, is going to be to try and close a bit on Pulsitter. Is that Ando staying out for another lap on Ando's? Ando's got a bit more fuel on board. My mistake. Yeah, I'm good, man. You know, muddling along as I do, as you do. Yeah, just day by day, mate. Day by day, as you do. Yeah, to be honest, I haven't had much time myself to do videos. Not much been going on, to be fair. It's the big marquee stuff we're doing now. You know, we'll, stuff like this, of course. This tribute to Rick that we're running, and then of course we've got Le Mans 24-hour coming up in 3 weeks' time, which is going to be an epic, because we're actually going to run that as it's not going to be split into separate streams. It's going to be split into 3 8-hour streams instead. We would do a full 24-hour if we could, but unfortunately the YouTube doesn't allow us the facility to do that, which is a bit of a pain in the arse. But we've now got the capability of running much longer streams, and flitting and tying together lots of what's the word I'm looking for? Stints together, rather than having separate streams for each stint. We trialled it. We did Watkins Glen. I don't know if you saw it. We did Watkins Glen about a month ago, and that was one continuous 6-hour stream from stint to stint. A couple of teething problems, but a good test for Le Mans coming up in 3 weeks' time. Right, so let's have a little run there. Let's go for the back, because that's the Stig making his move around Old Man Joe, who's just come out the pits. So he's on cold tyres. Good little battle going on between those two at the moment. Jay getting a little bit out of shape on those cold tyres. It's the Stig just up ahead of him. He's also just come out the pit, so good battle going on there. Of course, they're going to make up a few places. They're out of sync with the others. And Max, what happened to Max? Did he have a little problem? Because he wasn't that close to these guys. So we'll have a little look here. It looks like he may have had a foray with the chicane of a death. He was just a little bit slow coming through there, actually. He didn't hit it or anything. Just really slow navigating through it. And I suppose you'd rather be slow navigating than facing the other way with damage, in all fairness. So the Stig, that puts him up to 13th place, 2.4 seconds to the only German on the grid. A good result from them in the Euros today, of course. Although, to be fair, the referee, or VAR should I say, robbed Denmark twice. Same player as well, which is a bit of a pisser. 5.3 seconds is the gap to Thibaut. Very French name, that, isn't it? As far as there's not a Canadian flag there, it would make more sense with a name like Thibaut. 8.2 to Ricardus, Lithuanian, living in South London, just like me. He's second away from Puebla from the United States. He's 1.7 behind Nuke. Nuke and The Truth, 1.6 separates them as Ando comes in for his stop. 4.7 to Endorphin. He's 4 seconds behind Sharky. Yeah, big time, Rob. 2/10 to Mazda. That's a good little battle going on there, as Ando drops down the order from being in the pits, of course. So Sharky gets a good run down to the first big braking zone here into the chicane. Braking much later than Mazda, making that move and making it stick. Great move there from Sharky into the chicane and up into that top 3. He's now got to try with those medium tyres, not only to pull away from a rampant Mazda behind him, but to try and close that 2.3 seconds to Greasy out in front. Well, in front of him, of course, because in front, that is Macho Man. I shouldn't do that, really. I've already had one copyright strike from a previous broadcast where I sung that. and they had a little moan. The fat shouty man sung a bit of my song on YouTube. Fuck off. And yeah, I had to remove it from the footage and got a copyright strike for it. I'm sticking my finger out, although you can't see me. But he's 18 seconds clear now, but he's opted to start on those. He started on the soft tyres. He's gone soft again for the second stint. He's gone super quick as well, 1:36.6. Really opening up that gap early on. But of course, he's still going to run the hard compound tyres at some stage. Now, if he chooses to do that and run a relatively long stint, he's not going to be putting in 1:36.6s, low 1:37s on those. So he will lose some time there. Or if he chooses to pit straight after putting them on for one lap, that 19 seconds is gone. So there is a pit stop window there at the moment for Greasy. And of course, Greasy no longer has to run the hard compounds. And I think everyone actually, everyone's run the hard compounds now, other than I want to say Max started on the softs. I think he did. So Max still needs to run hard compounds, and I think Ando still needs to run hard compounds. Now, a professional commentator would write that down, but I'm not that. Right, so Sharky now, he's really closed on the back of Greasy. He's opened up the gap from Mazda to 1.3 seconds. And if we watch from Mazda's car, I don't even know they're close enough really to see that battle. Let's go on with Sharky. In fact, let's go properly on board with Sharky. That's the one we want. Press the right button, my friend. We'll see if he can catch him now. Exit out of the chicane of death, obviously paramount. You can't take risks with it here, but you don't want to be going through too slow and allowing that other car behind you, as we saw on the previous lap, move being made there. But they're both through pretty quickly. Greasy's still just up ahead, but there is a straight coming up at the end of this. Good braking zone there. Having a little look up the inside, choosing to tuck in behind the rear wing of that McLaren, and up the hill they go, getting tucked in right under that wing, letting the car in front punch a hole through the air. Let him drag you up the racetrack. Can't get quite close enough here. He made a move in the chicane a couple of laps ago on Mazda. Can he do the same again now on Greasy? Not close enough, but he is still ever closing that gap. Try getting a sore throat. 3/10 separate these two, and it's such a good view. This I should have got some guys to do driver cam, man. Another thing we've rolled out, Paul, I don't know if you're still listening. We rolled out a driver cam at Watkins Glen, so we can actually go on board with you in your rig during the race. I should have done that, shouldn't I? Oh well. Hindsight and all that. Good run down the hill, both staying on the racetrack, using every single bit of that racetrack on that right hand side, not making a mistake. Was it Mazda that made that mistake early on in it was Mazda that made that on lap 1 with those cold tyres just drifting wide out there. So he's done well actually to get himself back into that top 4. Into the chicanes we go yet again. Sharky's still trying to find a way around Greasy. Greasy's still maintaining that 3/10 gap and just holding him off. But all this is doing, it's playing into Monkey Man out in the lead. He's 23 seconds clear. These guys, where they're battling now, I don't know. I mean, is there an opportunity for Sharky to give Greasy a bit of a nudge, maybe, going up this hill here? I don't know. The straights are long enough to justify it. In all honesty, it's not a Le Mans in that respect. By the time you catch him with the slipstream, give him a little boop. They're into the braking zone almost. Round the outside. Yellow flag. That's for who? Who has crashed? I'm trying to find out. There we go. So that is Max, who just crashed. We'll have a look and see what happened to him in the crash cam. And he went completely wrong. We'll have a look. What happened to him? So yeah, very, very sideways, which is why there was a yellow flag for those in front. So yeah, that could have gone very, very wrong there. Make the move under a yellow flag, of course, and it is a slap on the wrist for you naughty naughties. holding them up at the moment is that's Monkey Man Macho, 24 seconds up the road. That's Greasy there. Oh, is that Max into the wall yet again? It looks like it. He was moving out of the way for the guys lapping him, but yeah, I mean, going into the wall, it doesn't, it's not ideal. So Max struggling a little bit with this car. He's already a minute behind Old Man Jay, running in 14th. 6 seconds behind Turbo, who is half a second behind the Stig. He's not the real Stig, obviously. Some say that he's not the real Stig, and they would be right. 5 seconds to Ricardus, he's on his own. 3 seconds to Pulsar, he's on his own. No other battles really. There's a battle there. Look at that Ando on the back of Puebla. Right tucked in behind him, looking for a way through. Can he do what Sharky couldn't and get the move done on the American ahead of him? Two opposite sides of the world, the Aussie and the American, two very different ideologies as well. One a lot more relaxed than the other usually. I won't say which way around it is, but we all know, don't we? Good exit out of there. He's going to get a good run up behind Puebla as they head towards turn 1. And turn 1 is essentially just a little flick to the right as they head up. Not quite close enough. I think the fact it's uphill just makes it quite difficult to close those last few yards. But into the braking zone he goes. Ando up the inside. Can he make it stick? Yes, he does. And Puebla has to stuck in behind. Thank you very much, says Ando. I'll have that. Up into 8th place I go, and Puebla can do nothing but stare at the back of that McLaren up ahead. Can he come back at Ando further on in this lap? Pulsar now getting involved in that battle. It's a 3-way fight now for a place in the top 8. Ando putting away from trying to get away from the German. We know Pulsar is pretty darn quick. You do not want that guy in your rear view mirror. He will punish you if you let him. But it looks like Puebla is getting sucked in by Pulsar. Down to you saw Pulsar there having a little look. He just tucked out off the slipstream there, had a little look up the inside, gets the move done on the exit instead. Into the chicane they go, side by side. No, Pulsar does a sensible thing, backs out. He'll try and get him after the death chicane. Through they go, very close to the wall through there. Both absolutely planted, foot to the floor as they head down towards the final quarter through that penalty line. Not seen anyone serve a penalty yet, which is good. Pulsar again pulling out, looking for the move. This time gets it done under braking into that final corner, turn 17, and that's a couple of places on that lap lost by Puebla. Drops him down to 10th position. Ando gets a little bit of a gap though, while Pulsar was held up behind the American. Back in this top 3, Sharky still 0.3 of a second behind Greasy and not looking like he's finding a way through at the moment. It's must be an absolute nightmare for him. Now you have to wonder, surely he doesn't want to be tucked in there, but it looks like Greasy is doing just enough to keep the Aussie behind him. And we know these two have had some great battles in the past, great fair, close racing battles. And you wonder if Sharky's biding his time and thinking, okay, I know when I'm pitting, and we know they're very similar on fuel, they're very similar on tyres. Are they both thinking to switch to the softs? It's going to be then an out battle. You would have thought so. They've both used already 2 of the 3 mandatory compounds. So will they then just finish this race on the soft compound tyre? So we are on lap 13 of 85, and this is a tribute to Rick Farley, who sadly after 85 years passed away earlier this month. I think it was the 4th of June, if I remember rightly. This is the father, of course, of Old Man Jay, who is back here in 13th position. 85 laps, of course, to commemorate the 85 years he lived. And that, I have a feeling that might be Matt. No, it wasn't Max this time. Who was that in the wall? Can't see who it was. Someone was in the wall anyway. Oh, was that Jay? I know. Just a really poor camera angle there for Jay. Yeah, so Ricky, they're using the McLaren because what happened there? I don't know what's going on, but was the lobby closed? I don't know what's going on. Bear with me. I don't know what's happened, guys, but my PlayStation's just turned off. It's not even hot or anything. What is going on here? We've got a problem. I can't get it to turn back on. Hold on. We have a massive technical issue in that my PlayStation is completely off. There's no heat to it at all, so it's not an overheating problem, which it shouldn't be anyway. It's got extra fans. I don't know, I can't explain it. And I can't get it to turn back on at all. I've unplugged and plugged it back in and all sorts. I don't know what's going on here. I'm going to try and change a fuse. Back in a sec. Unfortunately, we have a big problem. I've just checked the fuse. It's not the fuse. There's no problem with the PlayStation. It's not an overheating issue. There's no heat on it at all, so it's not an overheating issue, and it wouldn't be anyway. It's not that old a machine. It has a couple of fans on it as well to account for the additional heat and lots of ventilation. So I don't know. Everything else is plugged in. There's nothing else plugged into that particular socket that isn't working. I can only apologise. What can I say? Technical issues happen. That's a bit of a shit. I was looking forward to this. Apologise. That is broadcast over, unfortunately. Can't do anything without a PlayStation. I do apologise. Good. Hope you enjoy the race, guys, and I'm really, really sorry. I don't know what happened.